And good afternoon and welcome to our live coverage here on AM 980 KSGM and KSGM980.com, along with the Channel 98 Community Access Television of St. Genevieve. I'm Don Pritchard, and we're celebrating a Friday, July 11th, with kind of a somewhat muggy day, but the sun is shining. There's some clouds in the sky. Overall, it's just a beautiful afternoon for a parade and for the St. Genevieve County Fair, which is getting its second day under its belt. It began this morning with the setting up of the commercial exhibits, the livestock exhibits, a lot of Fair Queen activities today with the public speaking and talent competition, the fashion competition, and they'll be having the crowning of the 2014 St. Genevieve County Fair Queen. That'll be coming up this evening at 6 o'clock on the main stage up at the fairgrounds. But right now, we're bringing you live coverage of the 2014 St. Genevieve County Fair Parade here on both KSGM and Channel 98 in St. Genevieve Community Access Television. And we're brought to you by some very fine sponsors who make this broadcast possible, and we'd like to thank some of them right now. We'll take a break, come back with more coverage right after this. And welcome back to our live coverage here on AM 980, KSGM, and KSGM980.com. I'm Don Pritchard, and joining me right now we have Mike Friedman, who's the chairman of the Fair Board and the man responsible for everything that happens, both the good, the bad, and the ugly. Right there, Mike?
I guess. I don't know if I like that, though, but yeah, it's going good. Be another beautiful day. So I hope everybody can come up and enjoy themselves. We got a local truck pull this evening, so maybe see your son or your grandson or whatever out there abusing their vehicles. I'm looking forward to this evening.
Okay. And you know, right now what's kind of neat is we're seeing the parade before the parade. As everybody who's not going to be in the parade, they're hauling their vehicles up to the fairgrounds right now. It's kind of neat to see them get a preview.
Yeah, it's all being set up. They're working the track now. Hopefully they can get it pretty sticky where all the kids have more fun pulling. So
Mike Friedman from the St. Genevieve County Fair Board. He's the chairman, and so if you've got any compliments, give him a call and pat him on the back and thank him. If you have any complaints, hold them for later. He doesn't want to hear that tonight. And we'll continue our live coverage of the St. Genevieve County Fair Parade right after this on AM 980, KSGM, KSGM980.com, and Channel 98. Welcome back to our live coverage here on AM 980 KSGM and KSGM980.com and Channel 98. Don Pritchard here and Mike Friedman right next to me with some comments on the 2014 edition of the fair. We've been talking about some of the Saturday events. I think I quit at noon, so let's run those down for you. At noon tomorrow, they'll have the bicycle and tricycle rodeo on the baseball lot, the antique tractor parade through the grounds at 1 o'clock, sheep and goat judging in the small animal barn at 2 o'clock, the Cow Chip Squares at 2 p.m., Washer Tournament at 2 p.m., the Quarter Scramble is at 2:30 in the show barn, Turtle Derby at 3 o'clock in the show barn, at 4:30 the 4-H and FFA Award Ceremony in the Livestock Barn, a real special event at 5 o'clock, that's the Youth Livestock Sale, that's quite a deal, and that'll be the Livestock Barn. Of course, the big event of the fair has to be the Demolition Derby. That's coming up Saturday night at 7. And the Beer Garden and Dance on the main stage, free admission, Road to Home will be the entertainment from 8 to midnight on Saturday. So, Mike, you were talking yesterday, I think, about some of these events that were coming up tomorrow. And I think, I'm trying to remember, something you said struck me yesterday, and I know you're sitting there drawing a complete blank. You have no idea what I'm talking about. It came to me as I was reading it, and of course it's gone now. But one of the neat things about I know what it was. It's about the hog sale. The Fair Board did something special last year. Tell me about that, Mike.
Well, the last couple of years, the Fair Board's actually been purchasing a hog. So we want to do a little more PR for the Fair Board, to purchase a hog from one of the kids. So we just have it butchered and made whole hog sausage, and then we sell it, at a fair price to all the Fair Board and the chair people and work their way down. So, there's a lot of people help out with the fair, so maybe this year we'll buy 2.
Yeah. Just a little bonus, huh?
Yeah, why not? Give back to the kids. That's what it's all about.
Exactly. And I remember the auctioneer, you were telling me the first year you did that, they were a little surprised you were buying a hog.
Yeah, first he said my name, and then I told him, no, it's the county fair board's buying it. So, yeah, he looks surprised, because from what I understand, it's been many years since they purchased something.
Well, it's a good thing that you revived that tradition. I think that's wonderful. That is so, and that is such a neat event because that represents a lot of investment by those youngsters in attending those hogs and the beef cattle and raising them up, and that's a college education right there.
Yeah, and from what I understand, I never raised when none of my kids got into it or whatever, but I think it's fairly expensive from what I was told with the feed and everything. So I mean, it's a way to give back to the kids and help their parents out that spent the money to get the hog or the cattle where it's supposed to be. So
exactly, what a wonderful gesture. Mike Friedman from the St. Genevieve County Fair Board. We're awaiting the start of the 2014 edition of the St. Genevieve County Fair Parade. Here we're situated in front of City Hall. We have some folks on the corner of South Gabry Street and 4th Street. We've got some folks right across the street from us in the former Goose's Amico parking lot that's now used as a storage facility. We've got folks behind us. We've got folks beside us. We even have Austin Caldwell here. Austin Caldwell celebrating his birthday. I can't remember what year it was, but he's celebrating his birthday. Austin Caldwell's mother, Beth Caldwell, who serves on the city council, she had her birthday yesterday, and now today Austin is having a birthday, so they keep their birthdays together. We're going to take a break, come back with more coverage of the 2014 edition of the St. Genevieve County Fair Parade here on AM 980 KSGM and KSGM980.com and Channel 98 right after this. Welcome back to our coverage of the 2014 edition of the St. Genevieve County Fair Parade here on AM 980 KSGM and KSGM980.com. and Channel 98 St. Genevieve Community Access Television. It's a warm afternoon, a bit muggy. Humidity's up a little bit. We do have a south breeze that's making it a little bit comfortable when the wind blows. When it doesn't blow, then it gets a little sticky out here. But nonetheless, it could be worse, and we've certainly seen worse here on the 11th day of July. It's been warmer. I do hear a siren in the background. I don't know if you folks have been able to pick that up on your radios yet or on the TV, but I do hear a siren in the background. We're anticipating the fair parade will come running by us real quick. And Mike Friedman has joined me. He's the president of the St. Genevieve County Fair Board. His daughter just brought in the cards from the parade lineup, so he'll have the information to pass along to you to tell you who is passing by at this particular moment. And that'll go well with the television broadcast, of course. And, of course, you folks on the radio will kind of get an idea of where we stand in the parade. And we'll also let you know when it has passed this point. So if you're headed to the fairgrounds this evening and you want to avoid the big traffic jam, you better head up there real quick because it will be reaching us very quickly. And if you're headed to the fairgrounds, you'll need to get there soon because otherwise you'll become part of the parade. They'll stick you in right at the rear of the parade, and you'll be part of it as it winds its way up the hill. We need to mention the Sunday events that will be coming to the fair this year. And we'll start off with the 8 o'clock. That's when they have the weigh-in for the tractor pull in the arena. The co-ed sand volleyball tournament begins at 9. Public speaking contest in the show barn at 10 a.m. Horseshoe tournament 10 a.m. The horse show at 10 a.m. The tractor pull in the arena at 10 a.m. The amateur wine 4-H FFA and open exhibits are available to see at 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. The petting zoo from 10 to 5. The quarter scramble in the show barn at 1:30, Cowchip Squares at 2 o'clock, pedal pull in the show barn at 3, the release of livestock at 3 o'clock, the amateur wine at 5 o'clock, and the 6:30 is the Grease Pig contest in the horse arena, and the Grease Pig event is one of the fun ones, isn't that, Mike? All right, Mike, you like that?
Like what, the Grease Pig contest? Yeah, you going to get out there and try?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think last year, a few years, they had 18 and older. That gets interesting. So I'm hoping this year that we can get on the water truck a little sooner and make it a lot soupier and muddier for all the parents as kids. So.
Yeah, the dirtier the better. You should have a dirty contest afterwards. Just take pictures and put them on Facebook or something and say, rate the kid that you think is the dirtiest.
Yeah, I know last year there was a bunch of kids had a mud fight. And I even actually got hit trying to get out of the way. So, yeah, it's a good time for the kids.
Alrighty. Well, let's talk about the front end of the parade. I know that there's a Grand Marshal each year, and I haven't heard, Mike, yet who's the Grand Marshal for this year's parade.
It's Chris and Linda Kurtz are the Grand Marshals this year.
Oh, very good. Excellent choice. Excellent choice. And wish them all the best and congratulations for their being selected as Grand Marshal. How is that chosen there, Mike?
Do I?
How do you choose the Grand Marshal?
Well, this year we just talked about people that helped with the fair in the past, and that's who come to mind. I know Chris and Linda, they used to be president and chair people of the fair, so we thought it was appropriate to have them this year as the Grand Marshals.
Well, I do believe there were times when they helped us out with the radio broadcast too, and I know before that Al Foltz was sitting in that chair for many, many years.
Yeah, Albert, and there's been several people that, I just feel honored that we can keep the fair going, and it just seems like every year we're trying to get new events and make the fair more enjoyable and stuff, but it all takes volunteers. So I'm going to ask again if anybody's interested in help volunteer or got some ideas to improve on the fair. I mean, we have meetings every month. Just come up and sit in a meeting and see how it goes.
Well, I think folks at home may have heard by now the sirens are getting a little closer, and we'll soon see the first lead vehicle of the 2014 St. Genevieve County Fair Parade. Mike, of course, will be telling you who's passing and maybe talk a little bit about each entry in the parade as it comes by. He's got the stack of cards there and got the information. No, I don't think this vehicle is in the parade. This is one of the pre-parade entries, right? Maybe he's going to be pulling tonight. What do you think? You don't think so? I always like the guys that they get their trucks off the dealer showroom floor and then just take them right up there. I just can't find that. Hopefully they pay cash.
Yeah, this is the night I like to watch. I like to watch the local kids. I mean, it used to be fun back in the day. I used to do that stuff too, and it was always enjoyable. Even if you broke something, it was still fun. But now older, married kids, now it's an expense if you break something. So, yeah, I'm looking forward tonight. I hope we have a good turnout and the kids and a lot of trucks show up and everything and have a battle.
And it always is. There's always a great battle of those truck pulls, and you've got lawnmowers coming this year too.
Yeah, there'll be the lawnmower pull. They'll be pulling. I think a truck will go down, and then when they're dragging it back, the sled back, the lawnmower will take off and go down. So there's basically two pulls going on the whole evening. So it's like double the two things for your money. So.
Well, that's a good deal because otherwise, watching the sled go backwards, all night long isn't really exciting. Of course, I gave you time to hit the concession stand or the porta potty if you had to. Well, there's the sirens. I still have not been able to spot them coming around the bend across the railroad tracks here on 4th Street as they head north past Seraphin and the City Hall here. But they're certainly getting loud enough that I know they're. They planted those real pretty bushes there, the rose bushes and stuff, but I think they're blocking our view, Mike, a little bit to that north end or south end.
Yeah, I think they're pretty close. I'd say they're at least to the train tracks now.
You're listening to live coverage of the St. Genevieve County Fair Parade right here on AM 980 KSGM and KSGM980.com. And Channel 98, St. Genevieve Community Access Television. We're situated in front of City Hall, so when you hear the vehicles pass us, you'll about know the parade's about half through its route up to the fairgrounds on White Sands Road. We've got a number of folks out here today, and some of them are across the street in the sun. A lot of us are on this side of the street in front of City Hall where it's kind of shady and very nice and quite enjoyable. And the parade is moving very slowly. It's just creeping along. You probably walk faster than the parade, but that's good. That'll keep them all together. How do you decide? I've never actually been driving in a parade like this. I mean, that must be tough.
Well, we used to do it with our business, JW Buildings. They used to put a gazebo up there, and the family rode in the back and threw out candy and carpenter pencils. So I mean, it's fun. But now being on the board and stuff, it's just one of them things that we don't have time to do no more.
Well, it's obvious that the 2014 parade has reached the City Hall in St. Genevieve, and Mike Friedman's going to tell us about the entries as they pass us by.
Okay, the first one here is the Dare Dodge Charger from the Sheriff's or the St. Gen City Police. The second one here is a 2014 Ford Sheriff's car.
Jeff McCarty there.
Jeff McCarty. The Saint, you're going to be able to hear me. We had the St. John Fire Department go by, now it's the Weingarten Fire Department. Now we got the Bloomsdale Fire Department going by. Now we got Chris and Linda Kurtz, which are the Grand Marshals of the parade. They said they're in a 1944 Jeep MB and a 1943 M3 anti-tank cannon. And then we got an Army truck going by with Dale Probst driving. It's an M293 Army truck. Now we got the Cash Depot. It says get on track with Cash Depot. Choo choo. Now we got Jean Oddie for our presiding commissioner. We got our family and friends of Jean. Your vote on August 5th is appreciated. Now going by is Patty Nagger. It says vote for Patty Nagger, County Collector. Now we got Cindy Kurtz. She's running for a candidate for County Clerk. Now we got St. John County Memorial Hospital. Reminds you to have a safe summer and be sure to sign up for our new patient portal. I got County Commissioner. We got it. Nelson, Barr, and Gettinger. Good luck to the county fair. And that was going by was Phyllis Vessel for County Collector, re-elect. Now we got Sue Woke for County Clerk. Man, look at the candy. Don, you need to run out there and get me some.
They have to call out Dave Pinkley with a snowplow to plow the candy off the streets.
Now we got Saline Valley Farm. There's 11 horses representing some of the best spotted saddle horses and Tennessee walking horses.
Wow, they are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Mike, now we got plenty of time for the youngsters to run out in the street and grab some of that candy. Good grief.
Youngsters, that's you. Go get some.
Yeah, there's a lot of candy. We got a gap here in the parade. You're listening to live coverage of the St. Genevieve County Fair Parade here on AM 980 KSGM, Chester, St. Genevieve, and Perryville, and also on KSGM980.com and Channel 98 St. Genevieve Community Access Television. The next entry is just getting to South Gabry Street, just barely across the South Gabry Creek, moving in our direction. And it looks like an interesting entry. I see lots of yeller balloons. MU extension, it looks like. That makes sense. MU, yellow, with a tiger on the roof. Yeah, I kind of figured that out.
Is that a zebra?
Now, this is something I've never seen, folks. We have a yellow and black striped zebra or something, a painted horse. What do you think, Mike?
I think a little spray paint got on there, or food coloring or something.
Well, let's hope it doesn't rain, because then the horse would run.
There you go.
I see a queen candidate.
Yeah, it's. I don't have her name.
Oh, okay. Looks like either a queen candidate or one of the reigning queens going by. I see a name on this vehicle. It says Lucy Gegg. You got that there? Okay. Next one is going to be Vivian.
She said they weren't in order. So.
Oh, they're not in order, the cards they give us. Here comes Drew. There's another candidate, I think, for the St. Genevieve County Fair. The crowning is this evening at 6 o'clock. She's already ready to wear a crown, so maybe she's last year's, one of last year's. Yeah, Drew Moore is the retiring junior fair queen. There you go. Parents are Robert and Lori Pinkley and Andrew and Teresa Moore. And good to see her. Jessica just went by. You have Jessica there for us, Mike? And I don't see a sign on that vehicle, so I can't tell you who that was. Next up, we have a rather large blue vehicle. Looks like one of those playgrounds.
That's Bob Fisher with Fisher's Kiddie Rides.
And we have another young miss. I do believe this is a young miss candidate, Scarlett Gons. Young miss candidate. She has a very nice outfit on in a beautiful red convertible. And let's see if I can read these. Allison and Abby going by just now. Looks like Allison is a reigning queen from last year, I do believe. And young Miss Kate. And she's a smart one. She's got an umbrella.
Yeah, keep the sun off. That's Haley Rogers, Miss. I guess that's some young Miss.
And an entry in the Demolition Derby, number 4020, is going by, and I would say the operator of that vehicle is a John Deere fan.
I would think so, green and yellow. Now going by is a truck for Jason Smith for U.S. Congress.
Yep, you can tell it's a election year, can't you, Mike? It's pretty crowded with that. Petite Fair Queen is going by. Rebecca, I think that's Rebecca Gons. Yeah, 2013 St. Genevieve County. Yeah, Petite Fair Queen from last year. A few more queen candidates are going by now. And we have another one, a junior queen. And I can't really, it's hard for me to read those, especially when they're sparkly like that. Here's Bray Lee. Who's Bray Lee?
St. Mary's Fire Department.
Ah, St. Mary Fire Department taking Bray Lee up the hill.
Now we're back on. Now we got Brooke Weiler, Miss St. Gen Fair Queen, daughter of Kurt and Pat Weiler.
There's a nice vehicle.
Yep. Well, I hope that's Bliss and Haley Shilley, Tiny Miss and Little Miss. It's Dave Vinson's car. Paige. This is Paige Moyers, Miss St. Genevieve Fair Queen, Carrie and Deville Russell, and Carrie and Jessica Moyers.
Here comes Caitlin.
Caitlin Bloom, Teen Miss, Tom Bloom, and Tom and Amy Bloom. I don't have it. That's Ashley Bauer. I don't have anything on them.
Zell Fire Truck.
Yeah, now we got Zell Fire Truck going by. He's a lot quieter now. This is Colton Nagger on a 240 Farmall, son of Greg and Dawn Nagger. It was a little John Deere tractor. I ain't got his name and who's on it. So next one is Mike Nagger on a W9 Farmall. He's got, I guess, his daughter riding with him, Peyton Agger. Now, Tommy Hook's going by on a 1965 Farmall 806. Now we got Bill Geck on a 300 Farmall. It's a 1955. Going by now is Alvin Brown on a 1961 951 Ford. I got Wayne Barr going by on a 1958 Ford 641. And this is Siebert Ag on a 1948 John Deere G. It says, we got a signed Sue Woke for County Clerk. And that's Lost Acres Tractor Club on a 1942 International H, otherwise known as the Old Rusty. Ray Ziegler. It says a description here, I just like to drive my tractor. It was Tim Wingard on a John Deere 40 with a single front tire. There's William Noby and Company, Ag and Turf Equipment going by in a 2-seat Gator. Well, these are all William Noby's John Deere tractors. I just want to take a thank you for William Noby and Fleeg's Equipment and all the companies that loan us Gators for the Fair Board to run around. We wouldn't make it without them. I guess we would. We'd all have sore feet and sore backs, but it's really nice to have their Gators running up down that hill all weekend long. Now we got Tom Eckenfels on a John Deere 730. And Matthew Eckenfels with Emily Valley, Eckenfels Farms. And Chris Eckenfels, also with Eckenfels Farms. That's Alex Langford on a 8600 Ford. Now we got MFA Agri Services. MFA is here to serve a community, big or small. We're here for y'all. Holy cow. Another entry here is MFA. It's on a 2010 GVM Prowler dry fertilizer spreader. What's that? Plexus Slim by Renee Basil. Plexus Worldwide is a health and wellness company that is changing many lives, including diabetics. We got Brandon Bosler on a 1949 John Deere M. And Lester Loneman Deere is going by now on a John Deere 5010. This is St. Gen FFA on a Ford tractor. Now we got Austin Klein on a 1972 Ford 8600. Oh, a bunch of old tractors going by here that my cards are messed up now.
That's an interesting color. That's what is that, gold?
Yeah, it's a Ford 881 Select.
Gold color. Is that the original color?
I don't know. Now we got Ed Stretch on a 1947 Alice Chandler. Wade Swint on an Alice Chandler WD. Eric Geck. This is Alice Chandler WD-45. It's a 1955 model. Or here comes an old one. This is Dean Bowman on a 1947 Case LA with farm hand loader. Billy Siebert on a 560 IH turbo.
Did you see that? Somebody's driving the wrong way.
During a parade.
During the parade, yeah.
Now we got Mark Joggers on an H Farmall. We got Brian and Connie Nagger going by on a 1969 John Deere 4520. These belongs to Lost Acres Tractor Club. Lloyd Swiggert's on a 52G John Deere. And then there's Adam Nagger on a 4010 John Deere.
There's another beautiful little tractor.
Yeah, this is Ed Grovero on an Alice Chandler. It's a 1941 model.
Looks like a custom paint job there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he does a lot of sandblasting and painting, so. Now we got Nick Nagger on a John Deere 4010. Nagger and Son Farms. Another John Deere tractor going by. One of these is Chris Bowman on a 1958D Alice Chandler. There it is, the orange one. Now we got going by Little Rounds Preschool. Little Roundup Preschool. Oh, they need to. Hey, we're done. Hey, there's my part of my family.
Oh, they're aiming for you.
Yeah. Well, that looks like it's all. That's a fairly long parade.
Yeah, we got Genevieve Fire Department coming. Nice looking Mustang there. Pull it in. And here's some of the folks that make up the rear end of the parade. You know, they got stuck behind all the parade vehicles, and we've got a dare car coming up. Is that dare car the official end? I don't know. It's kind of gotten mixed up now. And then we had that white car going the wrong way. You're going to have to talk to somebody about that one. Somebody shouldn't have let that happen.
Yeah, I don't know how he got in.
Yeah. Could have been a little scary there if we had some kids jumping out in the street, not expecting somebody coming that direction. Well, thank you, Mike, again. You did a fine job with our broadcast this afternoon, and we appreciate your help in providing our folks with a word picture of what they're seeing in their minds as the parade goes by. We'd like to thank all of our sponsors for their contributions to help make this possible. Thank you, CJ, back in the St. Genevieve. Of course, we've got Bob Scott at the controls in Perryville, and CJ will have the news for you right after we finish this broadcast. So stay tuned for that. And we've got Cardinal baseball coming up this evening here on AM 980 KSGM. So a busy day. For Mike Friedman, I'm Don Pritchard. Take it easy. Enjoy the 2014 edition of the St. Genevieve County Fair right here on AM 980 KSGM and KSGM980.com and Channel 98, St. Genevieve Community Access Television. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Channel 7 and 98 TV and web broadcasting are made possible through contributions and donations from viewers like you. Thank you for your support.